What's up, guys? So we are at a brand new project this week, and this is project 169. It is an existing third floor that we are converting into a pretty epic primary suite, which will feature a awesome bathroom, big closet, and a bedroom that overlooks the South Boston neighborhood all the way to the ocean. It's pretty awesome. We're right in the middle of framing. We're actually right at the beginning of framing. We won't be able to see that punched opening because I think they've closed it up with all the snow that's been here, but let's go check it out anyway. Third floor, Mansard roof. This is going to be a primary suite, and I'm standing in the front of the house, which will be a big bathroom, steam shower over here, custom vanity that Ken and the guys are working on in the shop right now, powder room, and toilet room, and then a freestanding tub right here. And what's really cool, they actually have a freestanding tub in the basement. It's an old vintage one that our goal is to make it work with today's fixtures and codes. We got a little tricky situation, but we're gonna figure that out. The second tricky part is getting a 1,000-pound tub up the stairs. I think Liz is gonna help us with that. But we get these window bump outs. We're gonna do stone shelves on them. And then if you see down there, you can actually see how our knee wall is being framed up. And the guys are going to be really careful in getting that window seat, we'll call it, in line with this seam in the plaster. But let me walk you through what we got going on here. So we've stripped everything out. We've gutted this place down to nothing. The ceiling system is less than ideal for us, so that stuff's going to come out. We have this big, 6x4 beam that kind of goes the entire length. Talked to our engineer about this, and it doesn't check out on paper, but it checks out in the real world situation, so we should be good. Got our temp light set up, old chimney's been patched up, and this right here is what is going to be, 8 foot?
8 foot wide.
8 foot wide Marvin door that will open up to a Juliet balcony. And if you look through that plywood, turn on your x-ray vision here, you can actually see the water, Dorchester Bay, which is really awesome. And I'm actually standing right where the bed's going to be. Another window on that side, and then we're going to do a fireplace and a coffee bar over there. And this is where the old staircase was. We've actually stripped it out. This is how we're getting up here right now. We actually have a stair tower set up out there, similar to our Project 152, where we set up a stair tower for access, so we're not going in and out of the house. Currently, we still are longer than we want it to be, but we're working through some weather and some details. But this right here, this strong back on the floor, well, this is because we're going to cut in a new staircase to stack over the existing. This was the quote-unquote service stair that went from third floor over the basement, where underneath here is the main stair. Back in the 1800s when they had 2 staircases. So we'll get rid of that. We're gonna actually shop build this stair in our shop in one piece and then bring it in and install. That's gonna be a first for us, but we're excited about it. They get the LVLs laid out here. But a couple other things I wanted to talk about is the challenges that we're dealing with. So in an old home like this, obviously very rarely are things flat, straight, plumb, level, etc. The floor system's actually in pretty good shape. We're not going to do a lot of sistering. We talked about flattening this whole floor, but we decided against it. That far corner over there where the steam shower is actually is our worst spot, so we're going to address that just for the shower. Otherwise, we're just going to stiffen this thing up, get some Advantech down, glue and screw this, and that'll be good. The wall's very similar. We have this angled roof line because it's a mansard. So if you look, they don't look too bad. However, they are not in the same plane, so we got to dock these up just a little bit. We're limited on the amount of time we want to spend on framing, so we're not going to go through and sister every single one of these. And then we have this knee wall down here, but what that does is if these aren't in line, then these don't end up, and these are in line, then you get this wavy line in the plaster. So we got to find a happy medium, keep that bottom plate straight, hopefully keep these plumb, and maybe build out our plaster with a multiple coat system to get that nice straight edge. We don't always like necessarily putting that on the plaster to make something straight, but it is an old condition that we are not budgeting to reframe. Secondly, I don't even know thirdly, we have this multiple hip mansard roof. We talked about vaulting everything, decided against it. Really doesn't check out structurally, just going to be more complex and more costly. So unfortunately we have this funky beam, so we are limited as to where our ceiling height can be. And if I take this, if I can get it off the nail here, oh, there we go. Our plaster board is going to hit right underneath here, and then we'll set our ceiling height all the way across. And Liz has actually already surveyed this place and found out that not that corner, this corner is our low spot. So that's the lowest point in this beam in the entire space. We'll take that and we'll laser out and we'll flatten the ceiling all the way across. Even though we're not flattening the floor, we will flatten the ceiling, and that will set our ceiling height all the way throughout. And we'll reframe the ceiling with 2x8. We have a couple carrying beams that land on walls right in the middle here for where the closet will be, and then we'll capture that beam. Now, here's something that I keep going back and forth with. I'm probably annoying Liz, probably annoying my guys, but we're actively trying to avoid spray foam here. And you know, we've talked about this before. It's just more of a preference thing than anything. I don't claim to be a professional spray foam guy. It works, it has its place, but I always try to see if there's other options. And in here, unfortunately, this roof line here is only a 2x4. So we could treat that as a wall and do a rock wall, which works. Seagull on the inside, get our air barrier. Ideally, I'd like to do that and then go across the ceiling before we put strapping up, blow in the attic, and then get all of our insulation done. Problem is, we have to tuck an air handler up above the ceiling. So while ideally my thought would be take this knee wall out, do rock wall. Actually, you can see, I'll talk about that in a second. Do rock wall all the way up, Seagull from the sill all the way up, straight across our flat ceiling, tie in our air detail over here, and then that would be a complete air barrier. Now, we aren't renovating the whole house in this case, but we do want to treat this space as best as we can. The air handler makes that tricky because it's going to be above and technically an unconditioned space. So now we're talking about insulating that roof line. And if we insulate the actual rafters, we're not going to hit the R value that's required. I think we'll run into some code issues. And not to mention, if we do SIGA up and then along the underside of the roof, I think it's going to be more complex. So if you guys have some opinions on that or thoughts on that, I'd love to hear. Because the other option would be to just spray foam it. Spray foam from that foam down there, up there, and the whole roof line, and you're done. You're air sealed, and you're insulated, and you're above code. So it might be something that we do. We're still considering it. I'm standing in one spot, probably making this video very boring visually. Last thing I want to talk about was what we did here. When we stripped this, we found out that all of the soffit was exposed, and you could actually see all the soffit material. So we didn't want to really impact that from spraying or just having this air leakage detail. So we spent a day cutting some 2-inch rigid foam and putting it in place, and then spray foam around it. Gives us a nice starting point. So when we do insulate this, we have a nice ending point, which gives us a good opportunity to be nice and air sealed. Plus, it's something that helps us when, if and when we go with a rock wool type material. So that's a quick overview. Next week, we got a couple days here before, actually you guys are gonna see this video after that. So next step, I should say, would be we're gonna get this new ceiling framed. We're gonna get the new stair opening framed. We got a couple of skylights we gotta locate. We'll get this place insulated, and then this Marvin door will show up and we'll get this installed. But I'll walk you through the access in a future episode. If you guys like these site visits, make sure you comment below, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, check out our other series such as Revealed as well as the podcast, and we'll see you guys next week.